Hi guys, welcome back to episode 7 of We Evolve.
And today we are going to be talking about productivity guilt part two. So, to start off by continuing from our last discussion, I wanted to ask, when you accomplish a task, do you feel accomplished, indifferent, or guilty for all the things that you didn't do yet? For example, you have 10 things to do on your list, and one item takes 2 hours and you only have 3 hours, and you start off with the thing that takes 2 hours. By the time your 3 hour period ends, you only got four things done instead of all 10. So, would you feel, like I mentioned before, accomplished that, like, at least I got that 2 hour thing done, or like guilty for all the six things that you didn't do?
Guilty for the 6 things I didn't do. But I feel accomplished. Like, yeah, I got done with that task, but it's also like, bro, like I could have done like so many other things in that time. I could have focused my time elsewhere.
I think I'm more, I feel guilty that I didn't do it because I'm just like, now I wasted so much time. I could have spent the time that I allocated for each thing. I spent so much more time than that doing
The other thing.
something that I didn't finish something else. And then I'm just like, I wasted my time.
So like when you guys do work and stuff, do you prioritize activities that are like quick to finish and then get longer, or like how does that work? How
I
do you guys
think
do
it depends on just, no, I don't have a certain way I prioritize something. It just depends on the day and like what, so for example, if my chem test is coming, I have to prioritize like doing chem stuff before I do anything
it?
else. And then it's just like, it's like for me, so for me with sometimes you know how you have like breaks in your day, like 10-minute breaks, like whatever. I try to finish anything that's like quick. If I have a quick
In that.
quiz to finish it then. Like I'm not gonna waste my studying time finishing that when I
Yeah.
could be studying for something. Does that
That,
make sense?
that makes sense.
It's not a matter of how long the item takes, it's a matter of deadline and priority.
Yeah.
So, on that note, there is the Zygarnik effect. So, essentially, according to an article in Psychology Today, the definition of the Zygarnik effect is the power of unfinished business or interrupted or incomplete activity that holds a certain place in our memory. So, unfinished tasks create this burden and it weighs on you. So, whenever you do have a free moment or whenever you are doing something else, you're constantly thinking of what you didn't do, and it weighs more heavily on your mind. And it's also more easy to recall incomplete tasks than completed ones. For example, going back to what I mentioned before with the whole 3 hour time period and only getting four things done, you will forget the fact that you did those four things. You'll be like, what did I even do? Like you mentioned, it feels like I wasted my time, but in reality, you were being productive the whole time. And at the end of it, you're gonna feel like you just sat there and you didn't do anything and you wasted your time. Um, and it's much easier for you to recall all the things that you didn't do.
Yeah, it's kind of like you guys have do you guys know the reminders app on
Yeah.
your phone?
Yeah.
Not how you can do tasks on Google Calendar, but on the reminders app, when you write down your advanced tasks or whatever, when you finish it, it goes away completely. It doesn't just
Mm-hmm.
cross out. That's kind
Yeah.
of like how it works in your brain. Like it's not just like, but on Google Calendar, when you look at it, it crosses it out. But you can still see that you did it. It's complete.
Yeah.
But that's kind of how it works in your head because it's like, or like in my head, because it's just like I forget about the things that I
Oh yeah.
did.
I
Like
do
I
that
don't
one.
see the things that I did, but I only see the things that are left to
But
do.
in Google Calendar, what I do is like instead of like having it crossed out, I like delete it because I just don't want to see it because it's like I'm done. I don't want it like in the box, I guess. So I'm like
Do
just
you
delete
look
it
at
and it
it
goes
like
away.
junk or like,
Yeah. So then when you look
Yeah.
at my calendar, the weeks, it's like, oh, it looks like she had no homework. It's nothing, but it's like because I'm doing the work, I'm just deleting as I go.
Yeah. I
I
like
don't
to
know.
see the thing because now I'm kind of like I want to appreciate the fact that I'm
You did
doing
it. Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
And so I do like seeing like, oh, I did have 10 things even though I still have two things left, I did finish all the other 10 things
So
that I
you
have to
like
do.
seeing it like
Yeah.
dashed. What about you? Do you have a preference?
yeah, I like to see the work I put in
Yeah.
because I mean, I relate to everything that was mentioned
Mhm.
when I go, like, even last night I was studying until 2 a.m. and it feels like I didn't accomplish a single thing. But if I were to actually sit myself down and look back and write down all the things that I've done, I would have actually accomplished a substantial amount of
Yeah.
tasks. But that's not something that we do. We don't sit down and write down all the things that we have done. We worry about the things that we have to do. So I agree with that. And then um it's so what you guys are saying is after you complete or accomplish a task that took a long time, rather than feeling like you have a weight lifted off your chest, you feel like you have a heavier weight on you of all the things that you have to do.
No, like I feel like it's mixed for me. Like
Okay.
it depends on the week for sure. Like if I have exams that week, then I feel like that heavy feeling like I have so much to do. Like just because I finished that, I need to move on. But let's say like I I can say like honestly the week after like 2 weeks ago. I mean 2 weeks ago. Honestly, yeah,
Mhm.
2 weeks ago. It's like it's just a busy work week. I feel so like free. I'm like, oh, I did all my work for today. I'm done. I don't know.
For me,
And I feel nice.
actually, like I get what you're saying, but you know how there's like the whole stress of exam week?
Yeah.
The week after, I feel even more productivity guilt
Because you
because I'm
actually
just like,
prioritize it and you start like way earlier,
I
correct?
know, but I'm saying like exam week is, I mean, like for example, this week, like the week before spring break, we have tests for pretty much every single
Gosh,
class,
yeah.
right? So it's like everyone's studying, like I'm always studying, like, the week after, it's like, what is there left to do? So I feel even more productivity
Yeah.
go because I'm like
You're like,
wasting
get
time.
out
I feel like
early.
I could be doing something, but it's like, what could I be doing?
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
I feel a sense of relief because I feel like I always have work to do. There's no such thing as having a completely, truly free time because of all the other personal projects that I have going on that I could be contributing to, or how none of my classes are over, so I could continue practicing them. So there's no such thing as actually having nothing to do.
Well, not like that. I mean, for example, over spring break, like it is still a break, but I'm still going to be doing stuff for
Oh, yeah,
V12. I'm still going to be doing stuff that are not
Mhm.
classes related, right?
Yeah.
But it's still that the fact that I could also do all this stuff with my classes, right?
Right.
Like I
You can start
do.
early. You
No,
can
I know,
finish
but I'm
work.
saying like all the Weevolve stuff I do that I'm going to do over the break, I also do during the year when I have classes, when I have tests,
Yeah.
right? So there's still going to be extra time on your break that you it's just extra time that you're not like going to class. You're not studying for a class because
So, yeah.
there's no class. That's the
Mm.
time I'm talking about. Like I feel even though I'm like, okay, well, I edited a podcast, I edited multiple podcasts, I have social media stuff ready for this, and then it's
Mhm.
like I went ahead with science guides, like I'm ready. It's just still like it's still like
Yeah.
there's
Sponsored by, no, we're not.
there's still if I'm like taking a nap when in school I would usually be like in class or studying. I'm like, I didn't do anything. Why am I sleeping all day long? But I could be sleeping for like literally 30 minutes.
Mm, okay, so your perception has changed.
Yeah.
Um, so do you not think that that extra sleep that you're getting is compensating for the sleep that you lose when you are being productive?
Um,
You sleep early.
Not really because I prioritize sleeping a
She's a
lot. So I
bedtime.
make sure to sleep.
She goes to sleep at
I have a
9.
bedtime, guys. There are definitely days that I don't sleep super early,
Her sleeping
but
early is 12.
no, stop. Don't out me. Um, But there are days that I don't sleep early, like I stay up late, but very rarely because I plan out studying and everything way ahead of time.
So can I
Like
ask you a personal question?
I'm scared.
Do you have in the calendar a bedtime?
No. But I
That's a good question.
recently I've not been sleeping early. Like I've been sleeping like 1, 2.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Oh
But
my
the thing is
God.
I wake up at 6. That's my thing.
Yeah.
I wake up so early to
What time do you wake up?
compensate.
What time did
Uh,
you sleep last night? You said 2, right?
She didn't.
She did not sleep.
I constantly wake up at 5 a.m.
Mm,
Um,
whoa.
because it goes back to personal projects. That's why I don't
Mm,
feel the way that you do when it comes to a productivity guilt post test, because again, like I always have something to do, and so there's a difference, there's a split between my passion and my work. I'm
okay.
passionate about this podcast. I'm passionate about all my personal projects. I can't say that I'm super passionate about physics
I
Anybody
think
that
I'm actually passionate about chemistry.
Yeah, honestly,
I think
I
I like
agree.
it.
You love it. You're good at it too.
that's awesome. And that's probably why you and I differ when it comes to these things, because what I work on the daily is not necessarily what I am extremely passionate about. What it can get me in the future, the opportunities that it can get me in the future, that's what I'm passionate about. And the stuff that I'm working on outside of that now, that's what I'm passionate about. So it feels like relief where I can now allocate more time into things that I truly enjoy and not just spend like 23 out of 24 hours in the day dedicated towards something that I have to do.
So like do you feel productive? This is off again, we're going off track, but I feel you when it comes to nighttime. Like I used to in high school like study for so long, but now like when it hits 12, like or like 10, 11, like I'm out. Like I mentally just cannot sit and study. So I
Mhm.
sleep and then I get up like I get up at 7. But like
That's still early. That's early for you.
it is early for
That's
me.
really
But
early for you.
then I'm able to do like a bunch of work then. Like I
Why'd you laugh at it?
like trust me, I used to like sleep and only get up at 12. Like she would like spam
I
call
love
me and
how,
like
like,
I could not.
she mentioned that's early for you. It's like
Oh yeah, it is. It is. Like
No, I
I'm
mean
not
like
an
that's
8 a.m.
early,
girly.
but that's the same as like me waking up at 5. Like
Yeah.
that's early for her. Because
It's
bro,
yeah,
yeah,
I
I
everybody
had
has their
I
during
own.
have
breaks
sleep
I would
issues.
call her and she would be so annoyed that we would have to be hanging out at 12. She was like, "Why can't you hang out at like 6?"
Like my time to sleep would be like 12 to 12. Like I would sleep 12 a.m., wake up 12 a.m. Don't joke.
Everybody has a different
Yeah. And I
circadian
love sleep.
rhythm and
That's it.
calendar.
No,
Right.
I really like sleeping too. I just think that there are so many things going on
That you
in
can.
my life that I either have to stay up early or I have to wake up early, and I just think that I'm more productive in the morning because
Yeah.
I totally agree with you.
there's nothing
Yeah.
distracting you in the morning. There's no one texting you.
Yeah.
There's no one calling you. There's nothing you could be
Yeah.
doing. So
I totally agree with you. And that's why I do prefer sleeping. Okay, I don't sleep at 10, but I do sleep at 12, but I get up earlier.
that's so
You know?
good.
Let me ask
Yeah.
you something. Do you think that sleep is productive
I
Yes.
think it's productive if you're sleeping 8 hours or less.
or less? Okay.
Oh, so
Not
you
like
think
not
only
like
like
2 hours, but okay. I think sleep is productive
only,
if
only
I think sleep is productive if it's 7 to 8 hours. If it's seven,
I,
I think sleep is productive 7 to 8 hours. If you're sleeping longer than 8 hours, then why are you still sleeping? Get up. You have things to do. That's how I think. I'm just like, you know what? I slept at 12 yesterday. It's 8 o'clock. Why am I still sleeping? I slept for
so you
eight
get up.
hours. Time to get up. I'm not wasting my time sleeping. But I don't think you're being productive if you are doing stuff instead of sleeping.
Yeah. Not like if it's homework and stuff, okay, valid. But like if you're doing like watching TV, staying up, like
I
see,
think
like to each their own. Like I can't be like you're not productive. Like,
I
you
know,
could
I'm
be
saying like
doing
I think I'm
yeah,
not
yeah, yeah.
being productive.
I think it's
Like
all situational,
yeah,
right? Like
exactly.
if you're experiencing a mental illness, if you have a particular health disorder where you require more sleep, if you are of a different body type that requires more sleep,
Yeah.
you're not going to be if you're not an average person that
Yeah.
needs the average amount of time, you might need more or less.
Yeah.
And
And
that's okay too.
I think yeah.
So
And
it's
then
just based on each
It's
person.
yeah, it's
Your
based on each
preference.
person. Like we also keep in mind we're college students, we're all pre-med, like we have so like we are like back to back to back to back.
Yeah.
And maybe not every maybe you have more stuff, you have less stuff. It depends on who you are.
here's a hard lesson that I had to learn about like and it's from and
For
to
what?
be honest, I may have learned the lesson, but I have yet to apply it and I keep destroying myself. And when it goes back to when you said, if you are staying up late to do homework, valid. I had and still have that same mindset, but this person in my life, they keep saying like, Alina, there's a point where it's no longer productive.
You're
That's what I
so
was
right.
saying.
Because I've
Where I was
noticed,
like, I
yeah,
don't think you're being
yeah.
productive if you're staying up. Like if you're staying up till like 2 a.m. and you're waking up at 5, then first
Okay,
of all,
you
you're
ain't gotta call me out like that.
first of all,
Like you could use different times or something.
fine. If you sleep at 3 and if you sleep at 3, wake up at 5. I don't
Okay.
think okay, wake up at
JK.
6. I don't think one thing I think is I don't think that you're being productive
Mhm.
if you're not sleeping well. And I don't think that your sleep is being productive because you're not sleeping well. So then it's like, what's the point of the sleep if you're not
But
sleeping well?
also, some people
It's something better than nothing, Misha. Okay.
some people also are like better, like I guess more productive at night. They can stay
That's
up
fine. Then you
and
should
yeah,
sleep
so
a little. Then you should
yeah,
stay sleeping for
the
the
rest of
same
the
not
yeah.
for the rest of the
The rest
day.
of the day.
No, don't sleep for the rest of the
Like
day.
the rest of the week though. Like they
Don't
prioritize
sleep
like
for the rest of the week.
no, not don't sleep. Like
Like
some
people
people
that are on night shift.
yeah, some people just
That's
work
fine.
better nighttime. Like
No, but that's not what I'm
I think
saying.
you and me are the same people in the sense like when it hits a certain time, you just well, at least for me, like I just cannot mentally work.
Yeah.
I know the work I'm putting in is just waste. I'm gonna wake up and not know anything.
Well, you know,
Not know anything. What did I just
I
say?
think like during COVID,
You're gonna wake up and you're not gonna recall or
Yeah.
remember anything.
Someone,
exactly. That's
why
why
am I
I
putting my
say
time there?
that's why I think that it's so during COVID is when I really got into like health, wellness, and like what I mean really, I mean like personally, like when
Mhm.
we were all into like mental health stuff like since we were in
Yeah.
what 10th grade.
Yeah.
But like when I started actually focusing on
Personal.
like my personal stuff
Yeah.
was like during COVID. And something that's really important to me is all parts of my health, like my mental health, my physical health, my social health, everything, right? So I do prioritize like going to the gym, I do prioritize sleeping, I do prioritize eating well, I do prioritize doing my work, like all this stuff, right? And one thing I will say, it's easier said than done. It is hard
You
to
go.
it's hard to work, it's hard to study, it's hard to go to class while going to the gym, while sleeping early, while doing clubs and stuff like that.
While being pre-med. Boom.
Yeah, and while like sometimes even eating. Like sometimes you're like,
Mhm.
I don't have time to eat, like whatever. And
Mhm.
it is hard, but it's something that's really important to me. So I make sure to make time for it. And something that I do like because of that is I study weeks in advance. I practice studying like while we're learning the content so that I'm not cramming before the test and I'm not sitting for hours because to me, I can study. I can study late into the night.
Call me out.
I can study late into the night. Like if I
Oh,
really
really?
wanted to, I could. But I don't because to me, studying late into the night to myself is not being productive
Yeah.
because I'm not gonna recall the things like I would
Exactly.
if I slept properly and woke
Woke
up,
up,
right?
right.
Yeah.
Which kind of comes down to the same thing that I don't cram before a test because I think that's a waste of time because I'm not I'm not gonna recall the information if I'm cutting down my sleep right before a test, studying for something, then like you could risk being sleepy. You could risk being not recalling stuff. Like there's so many things that you could risk
Yeah.
happening.
Yeah.
So
It's just really okay. It's very situational. You don't know
and
what somebody's going
depends on
through, but
everyone's
most
priorities.
of the time, as
Yeah.
college students, it's like a matter of poor time management.
Yeah.
But going back to the Zygarnik effect,
Also, something
in
I wanted to say about the time management,
yeah,
sorry, is just that yes, sometimes it is about time management, but honestly, sometimes it could be that, like, for example, like, I think that you do manage your time really well, but I also think that you're doing so many things. So that's like, so then time management may not be like the root cause of like not sleeping for you. Does that make sense? Like,
it's
for example, if you have something planned like every single minute of the day until like a certain amount of time, it's like for example, Tuesdays is like super busy for me. And Tuesdays are usually the days that I sleep late because I only get home late into the night and then I have to do like all my stuff within those 3 hours. It's not gonna
yes,
happen. So you sleep late. So it's like in that time, I'm not watching TV once like 7 to 7.
yeah.
I'm not doing anything that's like unproductive, but I'm still like sleeping late because I'm doing so many things. So that's kind of comes
Yeah.
down to like it's not really time management all the time.
And I think there's this scene. Shout out to Abbott Elementary. I love that show.
Ooh, is it good?
It is so
I'm
good.
gonna start.
The comedy, the
I've never even
delivery,
heard
the
of it.
writing. Well, you about to?
No.
It's top tier. I mean, God, Quinta did her thing, but she's the star of the show, and I think
Okay.
she's also the creator.
She's the short one, right?
She was what?
The short one
Yeah,
with the
yes.
with the. Okay, I'm not gonna spoil anything. This is
But
what I've seen.
um,
I want to start it.
but it's so good. And one thing is that one scene that I'm recalling from this is, as you mentioned, like you have every minute of the day scheduled. Like that's me, essentially. Like if I were
Yeah.
to pull out my
So we were
phone,
really talking about this in that
yeah,
previous episode.
like, yeah, there is not a single minute that isn't allocated towards something regarding productivity. And
Mhm.
like sometimes at the end of the day, even if I get through all those things and I get home and I don't feel like I'm absolutely dying inside, I ask myself, was I really that productive today? And that's not a measure of productivity, isn't the amount of things that you did, it's how I feel. I should feel like crap every day. And really, I shouldn't. Um, and there's this one scene in Abbott Elementary where um, Mr. Eddie is just scheduling every single minute of the entire school year. And like a coworker, Barbara, comes in and he's like, "Yeah, can we wrap this conversation up in 10 minutes?" Because and like he's literally scheduled the entire year starting from that moment. Like he's looked that far into the future. And she's like, "What if a cold runs through the classroom? What if there's a snow day? What if there's," and she points out a student and then mentions like, "Oh, he gets excited from nosebleeds." Like, how are you going to allocate for that? What's your whole plan is going to change. And so there's this religious saying where it's like God laughs at those who have plans. But in a way that's true. That is very true, and that's something that I learned, and that's what caused me to do things like go to sleep at 2 a.m. and wake up at 5 a.m. because I have my plan of waking up at 5 a.m. Life happened the day before where now I have to continue doing all my stuff, but I don't get finished until 2 a.m. So
But that being said, like it's okay to have a plan. Like I don't think I could go about my day if I didn't have a plan. Even though, but it's just the
it's
idea
good to
of
have a
being,
plan, but it's good to be flexible as
yeah.
well.
It's good to not be upset if things don't work out according to plan because like chances are people when you're like I have my whole future planned out. The chances of it actually working out the way I planned it is like very, very
Oh
slim.
my God, yeah.
It's like slim to none. So it's like good to have a plan because like plans keep you going. Plans like teach you to have goals. Plans to, you know what I mean? But it's always good to remember that, you
Plans
know,
give you structure, but flexibility gives you power when structure is gone.
yeah. And I remember you were talking about something before. I wanted to say something about it, but I like completely forgot what you were
Was
saying.
it time
It
management?
was something about time management, but oh, I was going to say, you know how you were saying that you like every single day you want to come home and you want to like feel like shit
Oh
and
yeah.
that's
I
like
don't
when you
know that I've done good in life unless life makes me feel like crap. Like
yeah.
that's
So
a horrible
when
toxic
you're
mindset. Don't
so when you're
have that.
talking about that, I kind of relate, but I also kind of don't. With me, it's more that so you know when I wake, so I like to plan a week in advance, which I think is like that's like fine. I like to plan on Sunday what my week is gonna look like,
Mm-hmm.
and I know things like don't always work out. Sometimes you gotta change things around, but I plan on Sundays and I kind of write down like a list of tasks, my events, like whatever, like you know, Google Calendar, and then every single day if I have something to add, I'll add it, right?
Yeah.
To me, I already allocated a certain number of tasks or events for each day. So if, to me, if I finished everything I need to do for that day, then I feel good. I feel good when I go to like before I head to bed, I'm like, you know what? I did really well today. I was really productive. Like I appreciate that I did everything. Does that make sense?
Mm.
I don't always think to what I didn't do because on that day I completed everything that I've already allocated for that day. So I'm
Mm.
not thinking like, oh, tomorrow I have so much stuff to do. I didn't get that done. So I'm not does that make
Yeah.
sense? But if I do have a task left that I have to push over to the next day, I'm like, I was so unproductive today that I didn't finish
Yeah.
this last task.
Because it goes back to that effect where it leaves that burden. And going back to that, in my experience, I typically see this being displayed in keywords in my experience, in middle-aged adults, especially parents, because they spend their whole lives, or not their whole lives, their life at that moment taking care of a family, holding a job, paying the bills, taking care of themselves, accomplishing their personal goals. They have a lot on their plate. They spent their whole life accumulating enough things to now they have a plate that's this big. And when you potentially have limited time, limited resources, knowledge and education, support. It all depends on your background, your socioeconomic status, how you were brought up, but it can amplify, depending on those factors, it can amplify overwhelmedness. And to cope, as adults, sometimes they can turn to addictive behaviors and they can be as extreme as like drinking, smoking, gambling, or it can be something very minute and minuscule like doom scrolling, not like spending 10 minutes, 1 hour just scrolling through YouTube shorts, but like you are chronically online at every hour of the day. And that's a form of self-soothing because of their guilt that they feel. And especially in America, we live in a hustle culture where any time that they do have that's free, they have this impending feeling of guilt that I mentioned, that they aren't doing enough because of that unfinished goal, or they feel like they're forgetting to do something and it's hanging over their head. It's back when I was just saying, like, there's never a moment where I don't have something to do. And it's as though all the things that they have accomplished already don't mean as much, especially as a parent, because it's such a thankless job, unfortunately. Like because you put your kid on this earth. It is your job to be there for them, but like it's still important for somebody to come up to you and say like thank you
Yeah.
for all the work that you're putting in. Because even though you're supposed to do it, doesn't mean it shouldn't go unnoticed. And as for like a personal goal, their personal goal can be anything. It can be surrounded by their kid. It could be starting a business. It could be starting a social media page. It could be anything. But 9 times out of 10, the goal usually involves them leaving their mark on this world or leaving behind something that they made, like a creation made by like their heart, mind, body, soul, experience, hands, blood, sweat, tears, all their energy. They want to leave it behind and make that mark and let people know, get that appreciation, get that acknowledgement where like this is me, this is who I am, and I want people to know. And they have this guilt that creeps in because they're adults now, that you have more stuff on your plate, and if you can't devote as much time to it because life, house, kids, job, um then they get burnt out and they need a break. And when they do take that break, they're guilty.
I was like thinking about a connection while you were talking about this, but we were talking about maladaptive daydreaming in our last episode, which could be another form of how they're coping with this.
Yeah.
Wait, that's
I've
good.
I've seen more people with maladaptive daydreaming that are like in the younger demographic, but that could just be like because of education bias. So
Yeah.
back when I mentioned before, like knowledge and education can control your self-efficacy and your knowledge on coping mechanisms, there could be adults and middle-aged people that go through maladaptive daydreaming and we just don't know it because the younger generation actually talks about it.
Yeah. Also, I had a question. So, you're basically saying that you think that the middle-aged, a little bit older than us generation is the most affected by productivity guilt.
I wouldn't say the most affected. I'm just saying, like, in my life experience with the people that I spend time with,
You see
I
it
see it a lot in them.
because I also think that I don't know whether to disagree or agree because I don't think I've had this conversation with a lot of people other than people that are like close to me and stuff. So my answer would definitely be like biased, might not be like most accurate, but
Conversations about these things. It's just me looking at their actions and them
right.
talking to me about how they feel.
Right. But what I'm trying to say is that every time that I've like talked to like an well, we are adults, but like like an actual adult, or a parent or anyone that's older than me.
We're legally adults. We're not actually adults.
Um, so I think that actually like they're usually the ones that tell me like you're doing a lot. Like, you need some time for yourself. Like,
Yeah.
they're those type of people. And
Yeah.
the people that I see that are always like, you're not doing enough, like, go. Like, not you're not doing, no one's actually saying that to me.
You're
But
not doing it.
they're always like,
Yeah, I don't think anybody finna say that to you.
hustle culture, like, you gotta keep doing stuff. Like, the, like, you're not, like, the idea that you're never good enough. And it's not that you're not good enough, it's just like you could be doing more to be better. I think that mindset actually comes from
Comes from
people that are our age. Like, to me,
yeah.
in my experience.
I feel it comes from within too sometimes. It's like
Yeah, and
when
within,
you
but like we're
compare
also
others,
when I'm
like
talking about
our
like the
age set.
difference.
Yeah,
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 because
agree.
I think I see from more older people than my
More
age
like
people or younger people
relaxed.
that are like relaxed. Like you're every this is something that people always say to me. My dad says all the time. When you're old, when you're like when we're old women,
Old woman.
we're not gonna remember all the things that we like did. We're not gonna remember all the days we studied. We're not gonna remember all the days we took tests and did good. We're gonna remember the times that we were with our friends. We did something crazy. We did
Yeah.
like this podcast. Like, we're gonna remember all like the things that are memorable to us. So my dad's someone that always says, do some like make sure to spend time doing things that you were actually going to remember.
Why do you think that is? Because he has experience and knowledge and education. And this is a correlation that I've seen where a lot of people that have higher education have the privilege of having more of an income, right?
Hmm.
Because you get a better job and then you are able to get enough money where you can like your time is worth more.
Hmm.
Therefore, you can keep some of that to yourself and spend it on yourself.
Yeah.
But when you are someone that may have less of an education, that may have a more taxing job and have less time available to you because you're so busy spending it on everyone else and trying to take care of everyone else. It also depends on like how many kids you have and stuff like that. But on that note, their priority might not be to take care of yourself because they've been not doing that for so long. So I think it's also about
But
like
I do think that
personal
even those
experience.
people are kind of like, I wish I could. Do you
Mm.
mean? Do you mean?
Do you
Actually, the question is, what do you mean? Can you elaborate?
Like,
do you mean?
Like going back to like y'all being young,
that's embarrassing.
your your time, not to sound mean when I say this, but
Hmm.
Guys, clip
your
this. Elena's being so mean right now.
but like you are not the CEO of a company.
Yeah.
Have you met a single 20-year-old that's okay,
Well,
keyword, have you
actually,
met? Have you met? Not do you know of, have you met a single 20-year-old, 19-year-old, 18-year-old that is a CEO of a company? No. And even if you do, their time is worth more than yours because they are doing things that are affecting a lot more people.
Yeah.
No, but that's not what I meant. I meant like
She said, "Shut up." That's not what I said.
I
Okay,
said, are
that's
you done?
great.
That's
So
yeah, stop talking right now. No, what I was trying to say
anyway,
what I was trying to say is that even people that have taxing jobs or they spend a lot of time on other people, like their kids, their families, whatever,
mhm.
I'm sure that a lot of them do wish that they could prioritize themselves. That's what I was
Yeah.
trying to
Oh
say.
yeah.
I was
Oh
trying to say that
yeah.
yes, like think about it, like we are so blessed. We are so fortunate to be able to attend college. We're so fortunate to
Have
be
an
able
education.
to have an education.
Yes.
We're so fortunate that we are not paying for our own tuition. We don't have to do this. Even if like right now,
I think the point is like even though they wish they could, even if they had the chance, they would feel guilty doing it anyway.
yeah. But no, yeah, like I agree with what you're saying, but I'm saying what I was trying to say before was that
Yeah.
I do think that like going back to like what my dad said and how this connects to people that even have like taxing jobs because yeah, like let's be honest, like there are definitely people out there that have to like time for them they use it differently because they have to. Like they have
Yeah.
to use it differently. There's like, single moms, there's single dads. There's like so
Mhm.
many people. There's students that aren't
Why is it
supported.
giving be a man or a woman and make a change that what Raphael, we're not like political campaign
But what was I saying?
or single dads.
Yeah, I think that everyone like does wish that they could, but what I'm trying to say is that I never hear that from people our age saying
Yeah.
you should take time for. I mean, unless I'm like, I feel like people say it, but they don't actually mean it.
Yeah.
They don't practice what they preach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, cause I also
Because
say to
all of us
people,
are saying this.
but like
and then if you like actually,
So what do you
actually,
guys
I do
do
think
to
that
wind
I
down?
do
Like,
think I do
wind down?
prior. We're all
We're just
messing up today.
wind
We have a
down.
chem test today. We're just
Yeah.
all we remember is formulas. So-
Check out physics over here.
but
What do you guys do to wind down? Here.
well, okay. On
well,
that
let me
note,
finish what I
yeah.
was saying. I just
Yeah.
think
So,
let me finish what I was saying. But what I
check
was trying
yourself,
to say,
wreck yourself.
you know how we were talking about how we don't practice what we preach and whatever.
Mhm.
I think I do somewhat practice what I preach because I do. Okay, if I'm not like doing them to my fullest ability,
You're an
is
anomaly.
fullest a word?
yeah.
Okay,
To my full ability.
to my full ability, then yes, like I do get that you don't practice what you preach, but I do think I prioritize trying to do that. Does that make sense? Like I
Yeah.
prioritize trying to set aside time to do stuff.
Honestly, I do feel like you have a good like balance. If you go to the gym, you work on yourself.
Yeah.
You have like journaling. Like you wake up early for yourself, correct? To do
Mhm.
work and like to do like just you feel like you have so much time in the day. Like I think you do a really good what did I just say?
I think you do a really good job prioritizing.
Yes, thank
You're
you.
just messing
Yeah.
up today.
But for me, like I think for me personally, what I do is like I will go to class, whatever, do the work. For me, I always end my night watching TV. I will watch at least 2 episodes of How I Met Your Mother.
Oh,
I will
that's good.
sleep.
That's your wind down.
Yeah, that's my wine dine. My
Your
wine dine.
that is your wind down.
I
My time to wind down.
I kind of agree, honestly. I do think that I know I've said before that to me like TV is not productive.
Yeah.
But on the days that like school days, TV is the only thing that gives you like the slight like you are not doing anything, you are just chilling,
your
even though you're
time.
not. But the way I like I
Wine dine.
wind down is I'm not even like I can't sit and watch TV. Look, I can't sit on my bed
You
and
have
watch
to do
TV.
work and
I-
watch TV.
No,
Oh,
you
that's what I do.
understand. I'm
You
like
got so excited.
I'm
I was like,
flossing my teeth and watching TV.
Yeah, like makeup,
Like
watch
actually
TV.
something. Yeah, so because it's
Like
like
background noise.
yeah, not even background stuff. I'm just like I can't. I'm wasting my time
I'm
watching
sitting
TV.
and watching.
So let me watch it in the time that I anyways have to
Sleep
brush
and
my
watch
teeth.
TV. So I'm about to sleep, so I watch just to
Okay,
like chill.
that's still to me.
I love how
Really?
you're
So
trying to
watching?
get relaxation time to be productive as well.
Yeah.
No, I totally
But
agree
then
on you.
to
I do
me,
that too.
but then to me, like the being productive while watching TV is not like studying. It's more of the stuff like I can clean while watching TV. I can do laundry while watching TV. Like
busy work.
things
Watching
that
TV.
I can't.
Yeah,
But
you do too? Yeah.
I don't. But
Or math.
Math, real.
but yeah, like I like to do those things because it's like yes, I'm still like having fun, I guess. It's not I wouldn't really consider it fun, but it's just like the few minutes or like that moment of like I'm not doing anything, even though you are.
Mhm.
I just like do other stuff while I'm doing because like to me, I'm wasting my time just watching TV when I could just be doing like simple tasks, like like cleaning, like whatever, like that kind of stuff. But I have not sat down and watched a movie without doing anything like that in months.
Let me ask you this. This is like a two-parter question. One, do you have the ability to sit down? Well, actually, this is like a one-part question. Do you have the ability to sit down with yourself and with your own thoughts?
Yeah. So I think that the reason that I don't have time to like just watch TV is because I do prioritize other things like taking time out of my day to journal.
Like, no, like meaning
Like I just sit
Like,
there in silence.
you just like, Disha, get up, get out of this room right now, and go sit outside in silence for the next 30 minutes.
Mhm.
Like, how would you feel?
I would feel bored. Sorry.
I just feel like I'm wasting time. Like I need to go do something productive. Why am I
Well,
just standing and just like in my thoughts? Like, let me go do something else
in
in my
this
thoughts.
hypothetical scenario,
Mhm.
you have nothing to do.
Oh,
Well, I do
I
think
get bored.
I think that's what I do when I journal. I just write it down instead of like just thinking about it in my head. Does that make sense? Like I'm not watching TV while journaling.
But are you at peace?
She's saying like
Yes.
without anything.
Mhm.
Like just
Because like that's what I'm saying,
silence
like
with you
journaling
and yourself.
That's what I'm saying. Like journaling is the same example that she gave, except I'm not sitting there doing nothing. I'm writing my stuff down instead of just thinking in my head. But to me, journaling gives me peace because I think that I have become a more like patient person. I've dealt with stronger. I'm someone that I used to get when I used to get mad or sad, it would affect me more than it does now just because I had nowhere for those thoughts to go except other people.
Mhm.
But now it's like I can actually think about my thoughts. I can think about I just think I'm a little bit more healthier when it comes to
You're getting
my
better at
thoughts.
processing your
Yeah.
emotions and feelings.
And so I do feel like very at peace when I'm journaling and thinking about my thoughts because I do think I'm definitely still growing, still
Mhm.
getting to like a good place, but
You're like, you're what, 20? This is it. This is all your growth.
yeah.
You-
Yeah, it's not
We're capping it right here.
No, but you know what I mean. Like I think that I have gotten better at dealing with emotions, dealing with productivity guilt, dealing with mental health stuff, dealing with my physical stuff, like everything. I deal with it because I've found a healthy outlet.
When you get mad, rather than reacting right away, do you go?
Do when you get mad.
Wait, no, I think when you get mad. I
No,
just
she said
remember,
when, but I was just like, that's so funny. Like, when you get mad,
when you when you do get mad though, do you instead of reacting right away, do you go journal your thoughts down or like sit with it and then you're like then you make I guess
so like you know how I was saying that I'm still kind of growing. So I do. You know how if you want to
So,
take
like,
attention.
but-
Okay, so what I was trying to say is
on it today.
I do. I try to.
Okay.
Like I do really, really try to sit in my like give it a second, sit in my thoughts, understand what I'm feeling before I go and react. I do really, really try to do that. But obviously I'm not perfect. There are some times where I do kind of, just react. But I have gotten better and I do like carry around my journal with me.
Oh, no way.
Not like I'm like going to grocery store carrying around my journal with me. But like I do
Is it with you right now?
yeah, like it's in my
Oh,
bag.
okay.
But if I'm not studying something when I don't have my backpack, I try to type out my thoughts instead of like
I do
writing
that.
it down.
I do that.
No.
Pull it out, journal review.
No.
Journal?
No, because I have one also.
You
So?
Let me show you guys my journal.
It's like, yeah, I'll pull mine out too.
Okay.
Journal review, but
Journals?
My notes
Like,
page.
it's so goofy.
so here's my journal. No.
My journal.
But
This is my journal.
Oh, it's cute. What does it say? Oh, cute. Faith, hope, love. What's yours?
see, yours is like it's probably organized
You've done
and
this.
books for keeps.
Well, I don't think
Uh,
there's a right way to journal.
Yeah, I mean it's all
It
individualistic.
doesn't
to
matter.
your
Like I'm
person.
never gonna show you what I wrote in my journal. I'm never gonna
Right.
show like my significant other. I'm never gonna show my sibling. I'm never gonna show anyone.
Yeah.
I'm like
That's
Yeah.
for you.
it's for
and
me.
only
It's
you.
Me and
also
only me.
I also really like journaling because sometimes when I get mad, I like to go back and read what I was saying when I was mad before. And it's like,
And
wow, I grew so much because I didn't
puts
react
things
like
into
this.
perspective. But yeah, mine's like a dumpster fire. It
That's
looks
okay. I mean, that's how you like getting your thoughts out, and that's how you like getting your thoughts out.
like imagine. Okay, so if I had to compare your journal to mine, yours is like a nice, neat, sorted out, folded pile of laundry, and mine looks like when you just took it out of the dryer. Actually, no, when you just took it out of the washer, sopping wet. It's just
No, like
what
mine is like
this?
I'm not gonna show them
Right.
because they maybe won't read it, but like it's
It's
Yeah.
organized.
it's like that.
Yeah,
So cute.
it's consistent. It's
like
organized.
they just wrote.
So my form of journaling is what I do. I don't know if I talked about it on here before, but
We honestly need to have an episode about journaling.
yeah, I'm down. But every year when I turn 13, every single
Every year when you turn 13.
boy, like every year of my birthday,
Uh-huh.
since I turned 13,
Since you turned 13.
I've been writing like yearly notes to myself. And I will look back every year and like
Mhm.
I'll read it. I'm like, wow, like I've grown so much. Like
It's
it can be
nice.
the smallest things too. Like, like typing styles, like it's lowercase,
Mhm.
like in at one point, but now it's like back to normal. Like
Oh,
I
I still type
That's
lowercase.
like I type both, but like I can see like looking past it, it's like wow, like it could just be the smallest thing, like this is what happened in school, like this is what you're doing now, and then
That's
these
so
things
cute, honestly.
it's
I want to
cute.
start doing that.
Oh, you should. Like
That's
I
cute.
love it. And I did it when I turned 13.
Mhm.
So And I was like, I want to stop when I turned 18, but I kept it going. So
Do
You
you
brought up a question before, where it's like, how do you essentially how do you cope with these types of feelings
Mhm.
of productivity guilt? And one thing that we've just been discussing is journaling. So, like, what are other ways that somebody, like, if journaling just doesn't work for them, what's another way?
I think
recording yourself and talking
well, that's like yeah, it's like a
on your
video diary.
little on your little computer, record and just stout your
Honestly,
feelings.
I
What's that
did do
one
that.
movie, like
I
the
did do
Debbie
that for a
Ryan movie
while.
with the Sweet 16, like video?
16 candles?
I think so. Or like there's like a
I
whole
don't know.
there's a whole Disney Channel show based on video diaries.
I used
Good
to
luck, Charlie.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yes.
Oh yeah, yeah,
He
yeah.
looks back in time and it's so cute.
Yes.
I used to do that with my TikToks, but I never posted them because
TikTok like drafts and stuff, like
yeah.
recording like every day how you feel.
Before I used to journal, I used to do that, but
I used to like record
now I
on
don't.
TikTok just like about my day, what's going on. And I look back and I used to do it every day, but I don't like it every day.
Yeah.
Mm.
I also the thing with journaling is that I think a lot of people when they first started, they pressure themselves into a journal every single day. But like
And it's
I don't
discouraging
journal
for
every
people.
single day. And sometimes yeah, it is discouraging because it's like now it's a task and it's not
It
something that
goes
you're
into
like
your
you
yeah.
want to do. It's still like I have to do it, which over time, if you keep thinking of it like that, then you're not gonna do it anymore.
Yeah.
So
Um,
another way you can cope with it is I know we were talking in the earlier episode, hobbies.
Mm.
yes.
Like
Something
I
to
said,
distract
I
your
like going on a
mind.
walk. I like running. Running was so good for my mental health because to me it was like I could think about my thoughts like while I'm running, but running makes me so happy that usually negative thoughts turn into positive thoughts or they just leave my head.
That's awesome.
So it essentially boils down to getting support from others, having some form of self-care.
Supporting yourself.
Yeah. And because like in these examples we were mentioning like self-support where you are recording yourself, you're journaling to yourself, and so it's like you are looking back, your past self is looking back, or your future
You see, yeah.
self or really present self is looking back on your past self.
It's so like you see how much you've like grown or like you've seen like either how hard like life was that then and like see how it is now. It's like,
Yeah.
well, you keep
And
pushing forward.
yeah, and it essentially boils down to progress over perfection because um growing up I was always told like practice until you're perfect. And then it wasn't until I was like in middle school where my chorus teacher was
There's never like an end.
like, no, well, yeah, it's like he just said practice for progress. And then I thought that was so odd because I'm like, I thought the saying goes like
Practice makes perfect.
practice makes perfect, and he was like, practice makes progress.
Because
So
there's no perfect because think about it, you can always be better.
You can
You
always
can
fail.
always be more perfect. And by the time you reach what you think is perfect now, that's not going to be your definition of perfect when you reach there.
that's called growth.
So, yeah, that I mean honestly, that's a really great saying because I don't think a lot of well, I mean, I don't think I personally even appreciate progress like that.
And then my last question for y'all is, well, that we just talked about like projecting to a solution. What do you think the cause of the problem is? Why do we like to put so much on our plate?
I think
Makes me feel happy.
well, yes,
I like
but
being productive. Like I like doing stuff and I like being, I guess, not overwhelmed with work, but more like, oh, I have stuff to do. Like my day isn't, I guess, like free the whole time. Like that makes sense,
yes, I agree with what you're
yeah.
saying. I also think it's what makes us human. Like we're not humans are we're not like we're not just
Need a
born.
purpose.
We're not yeah.
This is
We're
perfect.
not just like born and then we have a family and that's all. Like we
Have
do
goals.
so much stuff. Like we have goals, we have aspirations, we have dreams, we have like Alina said a purpose in life. And I also think though that the scale of how like where you lie in productivity guilt and like other now this also applies to other things, not just productivity guilt, but it also kind of depends on your environmental factors, your family, your friends, your just how you're brought up. Because even though we spend most of our life as an adult, how we are brought up through childhood, I feel like affects us more, you know?
It's the
So
push that
Yeah.
leads to our domino effect.
So then it's like we see our parents are all so hardworking. They're always doing something. And we strive to be like them. Like that could be an example. Like I strive to be as successful and productive as my parents, so I am also there. It's also like we talked about in the earlier episode, hustle culture is another thing. There's also the push from society, even though it's not
Social
from
media.
yeah, there's a push from literally everywhere because everyone is also trying to find their purpose. They're also achieving their goals and aspirations, and then you're like comparing yourself. And then I think it's there's not one solid reason of why someone can feel productivity guilt. I do think that everyone feels some sort of it.
Yeah.
I think one reason for productivity guilt is because, well, it leads back to the question I asked before. It's like people can't sit with their own thoughts. I know I can't. I'll be the first to admit I can't
Mhm.
sit with my own thoughts, and I'm working on it. But I was on a phone call with a family member last night, and they were talking about how much they missed me. So I feel loved. But and I said this in a very respectful way. I was like, I think that I don't get to miss you guys as much as you guys miss me because I'm so busy. Like, mind you, I had this conversation with them at like midnight and I stayed up until 2 a.m. and it's like, and they're like, yeah, I get it. Because when we moved to Georgia, all of our family members from New York, New Jersey were calling me and they were like, "Oh, we miss you. Do you miss us?" And she was like, I really can't because I am taking care of children. I have a job. I have a house to uphold. Like, I don't have the time to sit down with my thoughts and actually feel the sense of sorrow that the people that I love aren't close to me anymore physically. And so she's like, I guess being busy is a blessing. And so I replied with yes, but could it also be a distraction? It's it's
Like,
something
well,
that
yeah.
is yeah, it's
Yeah.
something that you don't actually deal with your issue
Yeah.
because if you are busy and you don't call the person, you're only growing more distant from them.
Yeah.
You don't call them, they think that you don't miss them and they're taking it personally, and then all of a sudden they grow more distant to you on purpose and they're trying to give you the space that they think you need, and then there's this disconnect, there's miscommunication, there's people that aren't actually dealing with the problems and they're actually running away from it by replacing it with more tasks.
Completely
And
Well,
agree.
because it all comes down to the fact that mental health is not the only thing that dictates your overall health. Physical health is not the only thing that
yeah,
dictates your overall health, and social health is not the only thing that dictates your
exactly.
overall health. But all together, they come together to do it. You can't, you can't truly have strong mental health if you don't have the support from your social health and you don't have the
Or
support from your
physical,
physical
yeah.
health. Like they all work
They all have
together.
to balance. They're a triangle.
Yeah.
They all play a part.
Why are we
Yeah.
bringing out
The
topic points of our last
health,
health
bro.
class in high school?
I did want to say something about what you were saying, but I keep forgetting what I wanted to say.
That was
Well, we
no, I
were
totally
talking
agree with
about
you.
like causes
No,
of
because I
productivity guilt
think
and effects.
getting busy and having more tasks in your life can push your feelings and thoughts away. It distracts
I
you.
remember what I was saying.
You got it? Okay.
Yeah.
It distracts you and it lets you worry about what you have to do. But when you finish those tasks, then it's like those feelings come back. So then you make yourself more busy. And I totally get that.
I think, like you were saying, how people also use being productive as a um coping, coping kind of like to avoid what they're really feeling and stuff.
Yeah.
I will say before I got into journaling and stuff, and
Mhm.
honestly, like even still now, like I do think this, but I can never accept the fact that I am doing something productive as a coping mechanism. Because to me, I'm like, I'm actually being productive. I'm not coping. I'm being productive because if I spent time dealing with this, that's a waste of my time.
Really?
Interesting.
Yeah.
Why do you think it's a waste of
Well,
your time?
because I'm like,
Because a lot of people
think
feel
that.
like them actually sitting down, taking time to feel how they feel is a waste of time. And they think like, well, I need to be strong. Like, why am I letting it get to me?
Mhm.
When in
I have a
reality,
degree to get.
you are human.
Right.
Like
Like things are gonna affect you,
there are a
whether
lot
you
of
like it or not.
yes, yes. Oh my God, yeah, because and it's the saddest part is that the people that I see that have these emotions are also the same people that do so much and move mountains for everyone else, but they can't pick up a pebble for themselves. That's, they feel guilty
Doing something for yourself. I
feeling
don't think
emotions that are a part of the human experience. Pain is the part of the human experience. Regret, guilt, sadness,
loss.
depression, loss, anxiety, it's a part of the human experience. And if you think that you can surpass that, then
You're wrong.
You're wrong. Sorry to break it to you. You're not God. Like you, that's
It's gonna
it's
hit you
gonna
at one point.
happen.
It's gonna hit you.
And it's not a waste of time. It's something that is supposed to happen.
Right. And it's also not a waste of time to sit in your own thoughts because you are being productive. You're dealing with your thoughts.
You're dealing with
Maybe it's not something that you can see. Also, not to mention, just like physical health, mental health is not something that you can see a change in one day.
Yeah.
It's something that is you're constantly getting better at. You're,
And
like
even when you are feeling
Like
trying
you're
to be productive about it and feel your thoughts, you can actually end up feeling worse, even though you're doing things that are trying to make you better.
right. But like just like physical health, you need to it takes time. It takes years. It takes months to, you know, get to a healthy place. But I'm saying healthy place in quotation marks because you can always improve your mental health. You can always improve your physical health. Whether, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's not something that, it's not like today I journal, tomorrow I'm gonna be all fine. No,
Yeah.
that's not how it works. Today I go on a walk, I'm not gonna be fine tomorrow.
practice makes progress.
Yes.
Also being realistic, like going back to like you're human, it's okay to feel feelings. And it might sound obvious or condescending when I say that, but it is obvious and a lot of people know this, but it isn't until you actually experience it and know it that you know the true definition. I can tell you 1,000 times a day, oh, it's okay to feel sad, but you won't actually accept that
Mm-hmm.
until you are down in the dumps, bro. And going back to being realistic, you can't set 50 goals for yourself in one day and be sad that you only accomplished 5.
Yeah.
You have to look at the magnitude and direction. Physics. I'm doing too much physics, y'all, of what you're trying to accomplish. But
No, you're valid. Well, like everything makes sense.
you're not gonna conquer the world in one night.
Yeah.
It's gonna
Right.
take time.
And
Practice makes progress.
also keep in mind that someone that's like
That's the episode name. Practice makes
Here,
progress.
write that down.
keep in mind that someone that is very, very mentally healthy, I guess, like mentally stable and stuff like that. Just because someone is mentally stable or they have got to that point, it does not mean that they don't feel sad. It's not that they don't like it's not that they don't ever get angry. It's not that they ever never get sad. That's
Mhm.
not what's happening. You can never get rid of these emotions. They're always going to be a part of you, whether you are the healthiest individual or the most unhealthy individual. You are still always going to have emotions. You're still going to deal with feelings. You're still going to deal with everything that you're dealing with. But it's not that you don't feel them. It's how you take those thoughts and what you do with them, how you choose which ones you want to still think about.
Yeah.
And that is what comes down to practicing mental health. And I will say, sometimes what I will say is you will see progress. When you are doing better, you
Yes.
will see progress. It is not, you're not going to suddenly become super strong or anything physically, but
Yeah.
you will see progress. I think a lot, because even when I was at my lowest, I used to be like, I used to always think the thing with mental health is you can never see your progress. There is no physical way to see your progress, which is, in a way, yes, it's true, but I promise you, when
You'll
you
see it.
get better
You'll feel
with
it.
dealing with mental health, you will feel it.
Yeah,
Like
you'll
when
feel
you're
it.
in a position where you're super, super angry. Because even I think about things sometimes when I'm super, super upset about something, how I would have reacted a year ago.
Yes.
And that's when you know, like, I have grown, I have become a better person, or I've become a worse person, like whatever it is, but
That is also a
hopefully better.
possibility,
But yeah.
being a worse person than before. But to make a physical analogy on that, like if you know somebody or if you are a person that has like 6-pack abs and they're at their peak physical condition, then it's not like they're gonna have abs every second of every day. they're going to be bloated sometimes,
Mhm.
right? It's like you're not, even if you have worked on your mental health and you are at the healthiest you've ever been, you're going to have bad days too. And you know what that's called? Life. So,
That is
That's a
the
great.
perfect ending
Yeah.
to our episode. So,
so stay tuned and good luck, Charlie.
but yeah, thank you guys so much for watching and stay tuned for episode 8. Yep. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.